I'm going to open this meeting of the Bisbee Arts Commission on Wednesday, November 13, 2019 at 5:35 p.m. First things first, roll call.
Juanetta Hill.
Present.
Karen Schumacher.
Present.
Sharon Stetter.
Here.
Kate Drew Wilkinson.
Present.
Sandra Smith is excused. Bill Higgins.
Here.
Nina Williams here.
And then we're going to open a call to the public. If you have a specific agenda item though, you can wait to speak about it when we call that one. Otherwise, do we have any call to the public?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So, item 1, approval of the minutes of October 5th, 2019.
August.
August, sorry. I'm out of my mind today. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to look it over and then ask for a motion.
I motion that we accept the minutes from the August 5th meeting.
A second.
All ayes?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, let's move ahead. Item 2, discussion of Tanya Borges's art grant status with the Bisbee Arts Commission. You're welcome to come up here and speak into the microphone.
It's right here in the footnote.
Hi,
Hi, Tanya.
and so, if you remember mine was Bisbee playing with clay, and I got the grant the last cycle, and I had proposed for it to be done in September. It wasn't able to come to fruition then, and it still hasn't came to fruition. So I'm looking to get some advice, as well as just see to get an extension, or, you know, more or less the advice. I still wanna do the event.
So what timeline are we talking about?
I mean, now with the colder weekends, you know, again, I feel like I'm okay to go and, come up with some weekends and provide it on a weekend, but feeling like September, I felt it would be better for the weather, maybe for a full year until September, if that's possible, or what is your guys' feeling on the weather doing it, December, January?
Well, we don't need to do it at a time that, you know, you won't garner a lot of support.
Exactly.
One of the things that I'd have to ask is that I don't know if we would have to vote for an extension on the next meeting.
Yes.
And so that would probably be the thing, is we put it on the next agenda.
Mm-hmm.
What time of year would be the best for you?
I think September again,
Next September.
yeah.
And so we'll have to ask for the advice if we have to re-vote for the whole grant or not, but it would be on our next agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could submit a report for this one in some way, explaining as well.
So explain the circumstances.
Yeah, and then just saying I'm gonna have it for next September.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, do we have any questions from commission members?
Yeah, if it were presented with your agenda item when we have our meeting, that would be really helpful, so please do fill that out or make your.
And so then you'll vote next,
We'd have to vote to extend it or not, and so what you would do is you send a short explanation of why you couldn't do it
yeah,
to Nina, and then we'll put it on the agenda next time.
okay,
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
yeah,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
And then is Judy Murray here? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Can I move that agenda item to the end?
Oh, yes, yes.
So I'm gonna move item 3 to after item 12, just so that, I know there's many of you this evening who are waiting for your agenda item, and there's a lot of agenda items on here, okay? So that means that the next one that we would go on is 4, which I'm gonna actually move to table since Kate Scott is not able to be with us this evening.
Okay.
Do we
So-
vote on that, right?
Yes, and somebody needs to motion in a
So I have a
second.
motion to table.
I make a motion to table item number 4, Kate Scott's book on your deck of the boiler wall on the river and wildlife.
And do I have a second?
A second.
All ayes?
Aye.
All right. So, I know, I move a little bit fast here, there's a reason though. I will give you your moment to shine, I promise. So, now we're gonna start with the different sponsorships and grants. What we're gonna do is that if it is your grant or sponsorship or you're affiliated, you're the one to speak for it, then please come up to the microphone. I'm gonna give the commission members a few moments to look over the grant again, and then open it up to a short explanation from you and a Q&A from the commission members, okay? Does that make sense? So item 5, discussion and possible action regarding sponsorship in the amount of $1,000 to the Friends of the Copper Queen Library for the Copper Queen Library San Jose NX Public Art Mural Sponsorship. And is this your affiliate?
Yes,
Okay. Because we were told that she would have to speak, right?
that we both.
Well, I told Allison that if we had any questions that the Friends of the Library could not answer, that she could answer them.
Okay, great.
Good evening, commission members, city staff, Councilmember Higgins. I'm Allison Williams, program coordinator for the Copper Queen Library, and this is Nicole Hansen of the Friends of the Copper Queen Library, who I've renamed the best friends of the Copper Queen Library. So can we give a little explanation about the project?
For sure, and a brief explanation is great.
So as you know, we've opened a library annex at the BUSD district office in San Jose on Melody Lane. That property is owned by the BUSD, and we have an agreement there. We are in partnership with the BUSD, and this public mural is on BUSD property, sponsored by the Friends, and I think we're going to have some personal donors. And it is a community art project that will include artists of all ages. However, the way it's been designed was through a summer reading workshop that was a brainstorming workshop of drawing and conceptualizing. We had Priscilla I. Muralist from San Francisco as a consultant, a free consultant, in how they do their community murals. So all of the participants created drawings that are all being put together into creating one large mural, which is literacy themed and imaginative and represents the San Jose cultural community with an abuela and storytelling. And Steve and Suzanne Miller are the professional artists who will execute the outlines of this mural, which will be done as a coloring book idea, so that the next phase will be the community comes for a full paint-in where they can elaborate on the outlines, not just coloring in, but paint more. But this gives a structure that allows artists of all levels, which we are all artists, to then participate and create with an emphasis on the youth. We really want to engage the children of our community in creating art. This will be San Jose's first public art project, and it is phase 1 in a future project where we are extending the space of the library annex and the science lab annex into the outdoors.
Love it.
Do I have any questions? I think it's an excellent use of our funds. So, I thank you for writing a wonderful proposal as well. It's very clear and concise. Do I have a motion?
I motion that we accept the proposal from, for a grant to the Copper Queen, Friends of the Copper Queen Library for the mural to be installed in San Jose at their annex building.
For an amount in $1,000.
In $1,000.
And I'm sorry, she said grant, it needs to be sponsorship.
Sponsorship. Yeah, just read the-
Oh, sponsorship.
Yeah.
I just reread it.
You want to read it?
Yes, I propose that we,
I move to accept the sponsorship in the amount of
Thank you.
$1,000 to the Friends of the Copper Queen Library.
yes, I do move that we do that.
Okay.
I know, it's, well, that's it. It gets all
You have to
confusing.
read these things really fast. Okay, anyway.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All ayes? Aye. Thank you guys
I
very much.
want to thank you all
Very
for your
silly.
work and for continuing sponsoring art, and what we plan on doing, now that it's official, is including sponsored by the Bisbee Arts Commission as part of the mural painted on the building, if that is acceptable.
That's great.
Thank you so much.
Want that?
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah, you'll notice that Allison's great for mentioning it in the grant application. If you do, if we end up giving you funding for your project, a mention or some acknowledgement that the BAC gave you that funding is part of the, what we asked for. Just so you guys, just as a reminder. People are pretty good, once in a while they forget though. Thank you very much, Allison.
Thank you.
All right, item 6, discussion and possible action regarding grant application received for 2019-2020 funding in the amount of $500 to Mr. Kinbo. Come on down. For the Bisbee Poetry Normalization Project, Part 3.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, as a number of you know, and I'm Ken Bo, by the way, I haven't met. A couple of years ago, I did get a grant for the first phase of this project, of the Bisbee Poetry Normalization Project. And that was, I got these menu covers and that were being thrown out, and we recycled them from Yellowstone where I was working, and part of their sustainability program, and immediately saw poems inside the covers and stapled to the poles. So, and then we went ahead and did it. I've had a lot of support, a lot of people asking me to keep doing it. I've run out of those covers. I did a phase 2, which was an innovation on an open mic called the Poetry Roundtable Open Mic, so that it kind of incorporated discussion around a round table as well as the reading of poems and playing of music, and that was also live streamed, which is kind of an innovation. That was with the now defunct Biz Beans and Rice. And now I'm proposing a new project because I've gotten encouragement to do so. And in this one I'm going to, and I made some test copies here to pass around for you of the poems will be like this. They'll be laminated, they'll be the turquoise writing, but also stapled to the telephone poles like we have before. And I'll pass these around. I've got one example where the white background is left on because the lady liked it, and I've got what my vision was to have it without the white background. But so there's one of each, and I'll just let you look at these if you like.
Yeah, please.
And you can just pass them around. There's 4, so but there's 2 different poems, so you can switch your group.
They're more weatherproof, aren't they?
Yes, they're more weatherproof. Though I did enjoy the fading of the other ones, and got some good comments on that, because part of the genre, if you will, of telephone poles is how the things fall apart over time if something gets torn away, and so I enjoy that. But these will be more permanent until someone grabs a souvenir, which is okay. And but yeah, I put a few around the country also, and some people found them, so it was a lot of fun. I want to do it again. The costs are going to be more this time, so I won't be really making any money per se, a little bit. And now these poems are not written for this project, they're rewritten out of other poems. But I will be writing poems for this project because I'm interested in the synchronicity of people interacting with these. Anyone want to look at one? I'll pass these around. Do you want to look at one?
Do I have any questions for my commission members?
Yeah, any questions, please?
It's not really.
One of the things that I would have, I'm not saying this is a killer for this, but one of the things that we had talked about before, Ken, that I would have loved to see is that more people writing poetry for the project.
Well, I was able to get 3 people to write poems the last time, but it wasn't easy. I keep that open, and we can certainly add that on as an addendum to this. I'm involved in, I don't know if you know, but Allison has a final Monday of the month poetry critique, and I've been helping to get some people go to that, and a chance to interact with people who might want to do that. And there's going to be some other things coming up that will highlight poetry in Bisbee. So this is, I think for both people of Bisbee and people visiting Bisbee.
Do you solicit poets?
I'm sorry?
You said that you participate in poetry at the Copper Queen at the end of the month. How do you identify other poets?
Well, it's a program that Allison Williams runs at the library.
Yes. Outside of that program, how do you?
But
identify?
I meet a wide variety of people in the arts in Bisbee. So today someone approached me, a local performer, who's now getting back into poetry. And a few months ago, another person who's moved to town recently. And I always have my antenna up. We all do, you know, those of us who are active that way. Yeah, I guess some artists, they keep to themselves, but others are very, you know, like myself, we're very active and always engaging in people, and there's a great discussion to the arts.
And you very much are. One of the things I really pushed for this project last time, I was a big supporter because I believe in accessibility. One of the problems with poetry, I think, in our modern world is that it's, you know, pushing people to find the book is somewhat difficult, but facing a poem, you know, head on in an unexpected place is a serendipitous event. One of the things that I personally would like to see though is other writers in the community being a part of your project.
Okay, if that's what the commission wishes, I'll try and emphasize that more.
We're not voting specifically on that, that's just something that personally I think would be important to have more people too. You know, though I personally do love your poetry. Do we have a motion?
Well, also, can we pass an opinion on whether it should have a white background or just be clear?
I'm not sure we can vote on that exactly,
Oh.
but.
I'll take your opinion though.
Okay. Well, I prefer I think the clear.
I do too.
Yeah.
But the lady at Bisbee Copy loved it with the white, but then that's less cutting for her too, so.
There you go.
So, see if I can do this right.
And all my artist friends I've shown it to like the clear.
Do we have a motion?
How about you try this one, Manetta?
Okay, I motion that we fund,
We accept.
that we, yeah, 500 to Kimball for the Bisbee Poetry Normalization Project, Part 3.
Second.
And I second that motion.
All ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Well, thank you very much. Let's see what magic happens.
So, item 7, discussion and possible action regarding grant application received for 2019-2020, funding in the amount of $295 to Cato Daily for the return of the Turkey Vultures, it doesn't say parade, but it's event, March 13 through 15, 2020. Cato Daly could not be with us this evening, but we've supported the Turkey Vultures repeatedly. She wrote this letter in her absence. Let me see if there's anything that's of consequence here, but she said, "Thank you for the opportunity to apply for a grant. I wish I could attend the meeting, but unfortunately I'm out of town." So I would ask the commission members to look over her grant application in her absence. If we have any serious questions, we will, it might be advisable to motion to table it.
I think she does it too, she's always impeccable.
From my experience with the Turkey Vulture Parade is limited, but
It just gets better every year.
I think that I've been very impressed. And definitely last year when I had the pleasure of experiencing the children and the Turkey Vulture and the whole skit they did around that, so I think she's done an outstanding job with that.
The response on that has grown a lot in the last 2 years.
This is a great event. I love it, but
We had a lot more kids this year than
last year there was an issue where some of the funding from the Earth Commission got funneled into renting a live vulture, which was a little confusing to me, and I know that we had given that funding with the caveat that that would not happen, and it happened anyway. But Cato, I think, understands that that was inappropriate in that sense, and I think it was just a juggling of funds.
Karen,
Yes.
before you make an
Parade
motion, I would like to say
puppets
something regarding that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
Hi. So, we work with the Turkey Vulture Parade at the library. Last year, the live vultures were at the library and co-sponsored by the Friends, and this year, we have already discussed it, and I am going to be reaching out to the Friends to sponsor the vultures. So just, so you know, I think that's already taken care of.
It's been taken off our budget this year, so that's great. I just, as much as I love live vultures, it just didn't come across as an appropriate use of our funding.
Yeah.
So outside, okay. So outside of that, I have no issues. Does anybody have any questions?
I just have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
So last night at the Parks and Rec meeting,
Mm-hmm.
they recommended that the parade be a city-sponsored event.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how that affects this.
What are our dates on the tour? Okay, so we're February. Is that what we're looking at?
March.
March.
The
So-
activity date's starting in 2/21.
Yeah. So my thought was go ahead and motion, but let's put a caveat that I speak to the city attorney to make sure, since we're going, that it was recommended from the parks that we sponsor the event anyway.
Right, if you're
So
sponsoring it, yeah,
we
exactly.
can't give them the money. So I want to make clear before, but go ahead just in case he says, no, it's not a conflict. And then that way,
It is an excellent idea.
So if the city does
If the
sponsor,
city's-
what happens after we've approved it?
Then they don't need our sponsorship for that specific part of it, so the funding budget would change. Yeah, so we can put that on as a caveat, and when we speak that, then we should speak it with the caveat.
I think so, because it will depend on what the city attorney says. Even if we approve it and he says that we can't, then that his is the final say.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase
No,
that.
that's fine, and I'm sorry I'm making it so difficult for
No,
you,
no, no, I think
but
it's important, because that is, it makes sense. I'm rewriting this for one second. Hold on. I move to approve the grant application received for 2019-2020 funding in the amount of $295 to Keto Daily for the return of the Turkey Vultures event, March 13th through 15th, 2020, with the caveat that we will first discuss it with the city manager, or the city attorney.
Mhm.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Yes.
second.
Yeah.
All ayes?
Aye. Thought it was your turn, Keith.
Thank you for your patience. All right. So next item 8, discussion and possible action regarding grant application received for 2019-2020 funding in the amount of $500 to Francis, I can't even imagine that as your,
Pablo.
I know,
to
it's,
Pablo Pencil for mural. It says in Mandel, Healing Oasis in courtyard of Presby Annex. So I'm just reading it as it is. So what, we have, you were on how many, do you want to come up to the, thank you, Pablo.
I'm Pablo Pencil or Frank Keeman, or whatever you wanna call me. Judy had introduced me to this idea recently, and I know if any of you know about the annex there and the use it's being put to as alternative healing and a great place. The courtyard, if you don't know, there's a beautiful courtyard inside that structure. What we've been doing is looking at it and saying, how do we make this more accessible? How do we make this a nicer place to be? There are physical limitations to that space in terms of handicap access that can be mitigated to a certain degree, because on either end of the inside courtyard, there are raised areas that are accessible by wheelchair or whatever. We're gonna do some modifications to one of the doors, a little small ramp on one end, and there's an upper level. And we wanna be able to have that accessible and incorporate as part of the whole gestalt of the thing. We're talking about doing artificial grass on the floor, leveling that out, doing a sculpture thing that we talked about. But as you enter the upper level where we would have handicap access to participate in things, there are 2 blank windows that are just boarded up that make it kind of dark and dingy. We want to bring those to life and put some murals in that window so that and just basically enliven that whole area, replace some of the screening there, put in some extra lighting so in the evening it's an accessible visual thing, just to make it a more amenable, more user-friendly space. And as you probably, we talked with Timette here, we each have our own little style of murals, but I think what we were thinking of doing
Yeah,
is,
this is a combination.
yeah, collaborating our,
Collaboration.
combining our
Yeah.
talents.
Yeah,
to
that's
do
right,
something
his
that-
name is on
That will,
mine.
you know, will reflect what's going on there, the different activities, the different uses and stuff.
So I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Do you have the approval already of the annex?
Yes.
And then is the organization that is renting that property, is it a nonprofit?
Yes. Both of the groups, the Bisbee Alternative Therapy Clinic and the Holistic Wellness Center are both nonprofits.
And how many people do you have coming? You have an open house, don't you, on some set, like Saturdays? There's a Saturday.
We have a clinic once a month
Mhm.
that's open to the public, and we wanted to use that porch area. You know, we use the kitchen to feed the practitioners, we wanted to use that porch area to feed the clients. And so they'll go out onto the porch to get hot drinks and soup, and the murals will be there, with maybe, hopefully some little tables and chairs, place to sit, while they're waiting for their treatments. And then the garden is gonna be for meditation. It'll be open during the day for people to go in and
It is
just
open to
hang
the
out.
public?
It will be,
Oh, yeah.
it will be. Once
Okay.
it's all finished, it'll be open to the public.
Thank you, Judy.
You can go up that ramp and just walk in.
So the only thing, I mean, I'm a little bit, I don't quite know what to do. And this is in regard to the fact that item 8 and item 10 are being asked for by the same person. So Pablo's
Well-
repeating himself.
Well, that's why, I don't know why we weren't called together. I thought we wrote this, his name is also in my application.
He's
As-
gonna do one panel, she's
Right.
gonna do the other panel.
Right,
And so it's awarding each of you 500.
Yes,
Because on item 10, it says Pablo and you. And then on item 8, it just says Pablo.
Right, and that's why I just put it that way, but I thought it was Miss,
We had always
Her
figured it would be a
project, I can't
team
think
yeah,
collaborative
she'll
thing.
have, she'll,
It gives us the best use of the funds to do the best job. Looking at, because you were talking about, permanence and so forth, and right now, the materials that are covering the windows isn't the best thing. It would be easier for us to create these murals on new material that goes over the existing surfaces. And
like
that
a
adds-
plywood.
Yeah, and that's gonna add a little bit of the cost to the cost too.
Yeah.
So by combining the resources with paint and materials and stuff, we'll be able to do a better product in the same
Yeah,
amount for
makes
less
night
money.
or something.
Yeah,
So we are going to consider that item 8 is, so item 8 and 10 are really collaborative for
Yes.
both of you.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
right.
yeah.
yes.
Okay. So what I don't know is that
It's
our
the best
limitation.
use of resources to get the best results.
Yeah, it's totally understandable. I'm just, our agenda, the grant is written up to $500 for one project.
Right.
Well,
Right. And I guess, I mean, it does fall within that. It's just confusing because of the way that the agenda item is written. What do you guys think? Do you have any?
It's two separate grants, even though, it's one project, a collaborative project. You still have two separate grants.
where there are 3 grants total for that one project, but the other one is for Thomas
Okay.
Enriquez.
Wow. Are you each doing something specific?
Yes,
Yes.
Um, Is it in here that you can see it?
Looking at the budget.
so that's 1,500.
It's 1,500 going to one facility,
Well,
but 3 projects.
But the money's going to each artist.
right. So 375 is going to you, and then 375 to you, and the same thing? Is that the
No,
idea?
500.
No,
No, no,
500.
artist
Oh,
fees.
oh,
I'm looking at the actual budget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then 125 supplies, as a $500 total.
in regards to it, would the checks be written out to the wellness center, or would they be written out to the individual artists?
The individual artists.
There's a reason I'm
Yeah, we're just having this space, you know, we've already gotten grant money to do the courtyard,
Huh.
we've gotten $3,700 from the Legacy, we've gotten $500 from the Western Bank, we've gotten $500 from the Bisbee Bisbee Foundation. And so all of that will be used in different ways to make this a beautiful place. But we thought the artwork would be wonderful, and this would be a good opportunity in a way to get the artwork incorporated into it. And we'll be having a big open house when it's ready and would invite
Past
the town.
experience.
Which would also
Yeah,
let the
listen,
public.
I've been letting it go a little bit, but because of the way that we're recording, if you're not by a microphone, it may not come in, okay? I mean, I love the casual part of it, but we just have to be careful, we can't talk over one another, because then the public can't understand it.
If
I mean, so I'm just,
If you notice the material, the supporting material I gave you, it has some of the, I did 9-year-olds in Naco, Sonora, for the wellness center there. And they were much like what you were describing with the library thing, they were kind of a formulaic thing, we worked with kids, came up with a concept, and we did it. And I found, and I did this with Tom Carlson, the wellness center, that the $500 per unit per mural within a, you know, certain spatial parameters allows you to do whatever you need to do and still make sure that you have enough to cover
Oh, for
the
sure.
costs and so forth.
I personally, you know, I have no issue with the projects themselves, I think they're great, it's just $1,500, we limit to 1,000 for specific projects. You know, if it's a sponsorship, it's 1,000, if it's a grant, it's 500. So this is kind of falling into a gray area where it's more money than we usually give out for an individual project. And then we also have several projects people working on the same thing, you know, so I'm just trying to navigate how that would work. Do you have any issues or questions?
I'm gonna make a comment on behalf of this proposal in that I do think that the efforts that are being done there are valuable to our community. And so to have a half-finished project instead of having the project finished would be a shame. So, and I think that each artist does deserve their individual payments, so that's where I stand with it. And we have money to do that, so I think.
We're hoping that, you know, all of these particular contributions added together are what's gonna, you know, change the whole gestalt of the space and make it a much more usable, much more kind of amenable space for people to use.
I especially like that it will be open for people to go there on their own without having to come in for any kind of treatment. They can
Right.
actually
Oh,
just
sure.
use
Right.
the space.
You know,
To me,
that's
That's
makes
very important.
There's a direct access, a handicap ramp access, as you know, into that space. And if you were to follow that directly down the hall, it makes it kind of a right angle.
Mhm.
As soon as you take that right angle, if you would go right through the door that we realized was a glass door that was painted over,
Mhm.
you exit right onto the area we're talking about. So what we're gonna do is, there'll be a very small, like 3-inch ramp, 3-inch rise to run ramp off of that door, so that wheelchairs can go right onto that space
Yeah.
and maneuver around.
Do we have a motion?
Well, let's see, we're voting on the first one, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, well, I, a motion that we approve the grant of $500 to Francis Kidman, AKA Pablo Penso, for a mural mandala healing oasis in the courtyard of the Presbyterian.
That's what it
Annex.
is, it's mandala.
Yes, I accidentally had an extra N in there, I'm so
Oh
sorry.
no, I was like, is that a name? I felt really bad right now. Okay. Do I have,
It's just a conceptual format that we're.
yeah, I know what that means. Do I have a second?
Yes, I second.
All ayes?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
No, it just takes me a minute to grasp the idea that so many people were involved, you know, it's,
It is,
But it's well
and I agree
funded.
with you that we have the ability.
But it's well funded already, which makes it all the more magical.
item 9 then, we have, are you here to speak about the fountain? Discussion and possible action regarding grant application received for 2019-2020 funding in the amount of $500 to Thomas Enrique for Wishing Well in Courtyard of the Wellness Center. Would you like to come up?
Yep.
understand.
Hello.
Ah, okay, just wanted to real fast, see where we were.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is it going?
Is this a photo?
It's
The
going,
fountain, or is it a photo of your
if you
work?
turn it back to the courtyard, it's going on that wall over there. It's nearest you. Says,
And he has pictures of the space.
says fountain.
Oh, there's this fountain. Okay, so it's going up against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
give
then the
him
second question, which I also concur is,
Is this a picture of the fountain?
No, there's just
No,
references to
It's
artwork.
got, this is
bronze.
a picture of the wall
Okay.
that's gonna go on.
Is this a photo of your work?
Yeah.
Nice. That's a
It's
picture
bronze.
of the wall that it's gonna go on.
nice.
So it won't take up the space on the floor of the courtyard. It'll be on the wall.
So the fountain will be attached to the wall.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any representation of what that might look like in a drawing or?
Well, I want to work with the, like Judy and other members there to work on the idea. I do want it to be built out of, durable materials such as copper, stainless steel, and steel. And it will be a fountain, hidden water, return, and everything like that.
Mhm.
I'm also a licensed contractor, and I'm gonna be doing probably most of the work there, like the remodeling of the courtyard. So I have spent
So
a
it'll
lot
be
of
safe.
time. Yep,
Electric and water is
yes
always
ma'am,
an
yeah,
issue.
so, and I also got, $500 worth of materials from Hitching Post Iron donated for the project too. So, and my time is my time, all I'm asking for is some, $500 for copper materials, which has to be ordered, and the welding rod to put it all together, TIG weld.
So we'd be buying a welding rod, ultimately is what we're buying?
Basically, yes, because it's expensive, it's
Mhm.
consumables, and you
Yeah.
burn it up, putting
Yeah.
it together.
Um,
Yes.
So a question would be appropriate to suggest that, I'm just gonna ask you personally first.
I don't know if you can do that.
You can't do that, sorry.
Okay.
I like whispering, but not here.
No, I just haven't, yeah, all right, well, this is.
Is the question that you would like to see a mock-up?
I would like to see a mock-up, so that
Yeah.
the question is, can we table this?
Sure.
And see
So
a
that
mock-up?
so we
Yeah.
can see something, and then we can give the money to
Yeah.
it.
Mostly,
Because we
Yeah,
can't say yes
absolutely.
without knowing what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
so, next time we have a meeting,
Mhm.
and we would ask for some sort of photo, or like some picture of what you guys intend for it to look like, and can we move from there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's just, there's a few different reasons for that, like, as the BAC, we have to be careful about what representations we use. I don't think that that's gonna be a problem at all, but we really need to see a visual before we can approve, you know?
Sure.
And with the murals, we're letting it slide a little bit, because I'm very familiar with Pablo's work in that sense, but, with the fountain, I think it would be the best thing.
Mhm.
So do I have a motion?
I move that, that we table the
Item
Thomas,
10,
pardon,
item 9.
that we table item 9, Thomas and Beach,
Mhm.
because wishing well.
And I second that.
Okay.
All ayes?
Aye.
Any nays? No. All right. So yeah,
Mhm.
before our next meeting, if you could just send us some sort of mock-up,
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
that would be great.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
guys
you.
very much.
Mhm.
And we'll move on to your next agenda item.
And
So-
Karen, so the reason I added Pablo Pencil is because actual on the applicant's name on the second page, it has both. That's the only reason I added it.
Oh, no, and it's just,
Yeah, and so I'm sorry I made that confusing.
not at all. I assume that, so item 10, do you want to get up and speak about it? So item 10, are we talking, so that 375 then would go to you,
Yes,
and then 125 for materials?
at
Same as
least.
Pablo.
Right, and so
Yes.
it's not like Pablo's getting all the money,
No, right.
as much as I would like to, you know.
We intend on collaborating
Yeah.
so that the subject matter is still reflecting what the services that provide there
For sure.
are peace calming, but not overwhelming, you know. so that the public will feel like they're welcome to go use that facility.
Because I made the request of it, and I do believe I have to ask now that you also submit some sort of rendering. It doesn't have to be exactly what that piece is going to look like.
I
Do you have a
submitted
rendering?
some pictures of my work, and I can do a sketching.
Because we did make that request.
You're not incorrect. Let's see, hold on this one. It's just that we let Pablo
Skate.
skate by without.
Yeah,
No, I intended to provide you with something anyways.
Well, maybe we can back it up.
I think my,
Is it too late?
what I wrote was, my concept was a peaceful landscape, and that's
Okay,
why
okay.
I submitted some
That's good
landscaping.
enough. Thank you, that's good
Yeah.
enough, that's good enough.
Yes.
Thank you.
No Kubo?
I wasn't gonna do a mandala.
No, it's my
Yeah.
mistake too, because visually, when Pablo says he's gonna do a mural, I have some examples in my head of what Pablo's murals are going to look like. And so when I'm unfamiliar with an artist, it gets a little bit more confusing, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
that's why I wrote verbally, a landscape would have been my concept, and
you did include visuals in here.
I did.
And that, your intention,
Yes.
like you said, is to do a landscape as
Yes,
well.
yes, yeah, something
Yeah.
in that vein, just the Bisbee landscape,
Yeah.
Which wall will this go on?
Pardon?
It goes in-
It goes on that
it's a
panel
picture.
right there on the page before, see
Yeah.
this? Black and white,
There are
yeah,
two
see, there's
panels.
two
One
panels.
would be for Ken, one would be for.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean,
yeah,
So the
they're
window
quite
panel.
large, and what we were talking about was replacing this board as
Okay.
well in the expense of materials.
Okay.
So that's, yeah, a piece of masonite or something is nice.
Right, and that's
Each
why I.
panel is 48 by 76.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, that's good to know. I'm sure you've spelled that out.
Yeah, it's in the diagram.
Yeah, I just
Here's
wanna
the
put it on my-
dimensions.
Okay, oh, yeah,
Yeah, that's.
Thank you.
thank you.
Then, I feel pretty clear about that. Do we have a motion?
Is it my turn?
You're just so good at it, come on.
Yeah. It's funny, you're supposed to have Sandra here, she's the one that does this stuff.
I'm gonna do.
Okay, I motion that we approve the grant application for $500 to Tonette de Rocher and Pablo, Tonette, put that out, for the healing oasis at the courtyard of the Presbyterian Annex.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All ayes?
Aye.
Thank you.
guys. Sorry for the confusion a little bit.
Thank you
I was
very
just trying to
much.
work it out in my own brain. And once we have, I would love to see your proposal when you submit your drawing next time. One of the things I should have said a little bit earlier too is that if you're unfamiliar with the way that the Arts Commission works, it does take a little bit of time to get your check in the mail. We're talking about usually 2 to 6 weeks.
What?
I
I can't do it for this accounts payable, so it'll have to go on to the next one, which will be the first Tuesday in December, and then it would be paid after that.
And our,
They have to approve
yeah,
it.
they have to approve our next.
Yeah, I have to get it onto the agenda for you.
All right, so I have item 11. Discussion and possible action regarding grant application received for 2019-2020 funding in the amount of $300 to Abigail Stage for Fascination in Action, a 2-week exhibit.
Yes, and,
This,
because I am part of this exhibit, I'm going to
Recuse yourself.
Recuse myself.
and this is what I was a little bit, just before you speak, because the money is at Central School, I did not know if I should recuse myself as well.
Is it going to,
It is not going to Central School.
what is it, how is it gonna be?
So the funding is for Abigail and her group to put on a show at Central School.
Unfortunately, yes.
And so I have only 2 people to vote. Is that,
Well, no, we can't do it with 2.
One person to vote.
it only takes 1 vote?
No, there's isn't another, board member, on this arts list?
No. Are you,
Kate and I.
Sandra. Sandra could come to the next meeting, so we could table it to then until she's able to attend.
Yeah, and that's it's just because there's so much I try to be very careful because I'm the president of Central School, and whenever there's a conflict of interest, I try to recuse myself so that it doesn't look like I'm redirecting the funds to Central School.
Right.
You know,
I understand.
same thing as a participant in your event, she has to recuse herself as well.
And Sandra is not participating, correct?
Sandra is not participating, so right now we don't have a majority of votes to vote for you, so we'd have to table it till the next meeting, so our
Okay.
absent member is here.
Okay,
And my apologies for that.
all right.
And is this tabling gonna really, I guess we have no choice, but what's the date of this event?
But not until February 21st,
Okay,
2020.
Okay, so good, okay.
Right. I do have a revised budget and bios. Can I hand you those?
Yeah,
For
papers?
sure.
Does she need to hand them to you first?
Yeah.
Well, no, she can hand them to you, but I will need a copy of those so that I can put them with the, when it goes back to the, commission. Thank you.
Thank you. So do I say anything at this point, or just go ahead and sit down?
Well, we would have to rewrite your whole agenda item anyway, because you're asking for more funds, right?
No, it's the same amount of funds, it's still $300.
Oh, okay, sorry, I misread it.
Yeah, it's yeah. I had a conversation with Lori about what Central School pays for and what I would be paying for, and so I had to revise things.
Oh, that's great, thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
I know so often in these projects, we don't know what we're going to spend until we're,
Yes.
it changes so often. So Abigail, I'm gonna table this and put it on the next agenda when our other member's here, and then we'll have enough people to vote on it.
Okay,
Because right now with 2 and 2, we don't.
right. Do you have an idea of when that meeting will be?
It's the first Monday in December.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And
I
so I'm
wanna
glad
say
that
it's
your
the
project's far enough away
4th.
that it's not going to.
Right.
Do I have a motion?
Okay, a motion that we table this agenda number 11 on our meeting schedule for Abigail Stage's presentation regarding fascination action. Is that good enough?
I second that. All ayes?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And yeah, and our apologies. It's just,
No problem,
there's so many intersecting lines in this town. I try to be very conscientious about them. We are done with grants this evening. You are welcome to stay for the next meeting, our next agenda item. But I do want to say that thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it matters that you showed up.
Yeah.
It really it does.
Oh, usually we don't even grant.
We
grant
have to-
things without anybody here
No.
anyway.
And
So-
I'm sorry, who seconded that motion?
Me, I think
You did?
Is there one you wanted to put up at City Hall somewhere?
Whichever one you want to give us.
What do you
So we're
think?
gonna move on to item 12.
Do you have a white wall? This will go good on a white wall.
Possible action regarding a cocktail party for the
It's
cigar
kind of a
vending
gray
machine
wall, so
in
that probably would
December,
do better.
Okay.
including but not limited
You like
to
that one?
music, food, date, etc. I love how vague that is. Thank you. Our pleasure. Thank you very much, Ken. Who what?
Oh,
Oh,
well, thanks for sharing.
yeah.
This is fine. I'll put
Cool.
it up. Thank you.
Abigail, we'll see you next time. Thank you
Okay,
very
very
much.
good, yeah.
I effectively emptied the room. didn't
You
I?
did.
Oh, sorry. It's just, well, it's a lot easier for us
It
to
is.
talk about it.
Because we're so in.
So, we're here discussing a cocktail party for the cigarette vending machine in December. And this evening we have to vote on music, food, date, and budget, alright? So date we have is December 11th. That has been approved by the Pages.
Yes.
What I was gonna ask about that is, are we paying them money?
They didn't ask me specifically for any money, but you had suggested we might have a budget, so the budget in part might belong to them if they're providing some of the food or the drink. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And include the time too when you do the motion.
Oh,
Make sure
yeah.
all of, and you can do one whole motion to include all of it. Just make sure we have the time too.
Yeah, we just have to kind of work this out, right?
So
Yeah.
just to give everyone a heads up, December 11th is a Wednesday night, which makes it not competing with all the activities of the holidays on the weekends. I think that my vision of this event is that it's very simple. We have been offered the space, the Table Restaurant has that additional space that used to be called Tavola Pizza.
Yes.
Anyway, that area is right there where the machine already is, and so we would use that area of the restaurant for our cocktail party with the machine right there. Maybe, you know, have some simple, probably just pizza, you know, because that's what they do there in that space, and some wine and simple music and holiday. The purpose of it would be for people to purchase their stocking stuffers / holiday gifts from the machine and to reintroduce the machine. Now, with that said, can I give a real quick report on how the machine is doing? Does that make sense, or I can't?
I think a couple sentences is okay, right?
Yeah, I think a couple of sentences, all right. Just don't go into too much detail. Even though I did say not limited to, I didn't really say that you were going to give an update.
No. Well, today I turned in sales of 67 more artworks since the last time we gave artwork. So anyway, so the machine is doing, I think, quite well. It's back on a schedule of like a piece per day, which is really nice. When we had the event in May that we unveiled the machine, what we're going for is to try and make up the difference of what perhaps, if we base what I think the machine is doing, we're going to have about $6,400 for the BAC and $6,400 for artists. Now, some of that $6,400 to artists actually belongs to the BAC artists who give the full amount of their purchases, if we're staying on track for what I believe is happening. But if we were to have another event and make the $2,500 we made last time, we would probably come very close to our $10,000 grant cycle. We could still have a nice party, but we won't be, you know, I'm basing this need for another party on trying to fulfill our $10,000.
It's avoidance of giant fundraisers. Right?
Yes, it's avoidance of giant fundraisers, and I think it's a worthy aspect of what we're doing on this commission right now, is introducing artists to the community, and why not?
I think it's an excellent time to have a party for us, and people are looking so desperately for presents, right?
That's right.
Yes.
So let's get down to the nitty gritty on this one.
Time, yeah.
So I would say we have to include the time that we have a quorum. So I would say even if the event's gonna start at 6 or 7, we say 5, and we go to 11. That gives us cleanup time.
It gives a cleanup time, yes.
When it comes to a budget, we were looking at a budget of 500, right? 500 with how much of that going to what?
Music?
Well, I would like to hope that we could,
Let's just buy the food. I would assume that buying food from the pages is the best idea, since maybe we're in their space.
right. Do we charge an admission? Do we sell tickets to this event also to get a little bit more funding to be able to provide the drinks for free, or no?
I think no. I mean, we have a bar where we have drinks.
Right.
Because it's more of a casual thing, you know. People aren't. There's nothing. We're not paying. They're not getting a band, and they're not getting.
No. Well, and or if we were to have some live music, I would think something very simple, like Jessica and Bill, Jessica Fleet and Bill.
Or even
if we
oh,
had
that
live
night.
music.
Yeah, that's another one that'd be perfect.
You know, it would be the general.
And maybe if they would do it as a donation, then it would make sense for us to ask them.
I think Alexander would come through for us.
So we don't need to necessarily, as much as I'm always in favor of giving artists money for everything, I think we might need all $500 for the party if we're not gonna charge admission.
I agree. So let's see what we can round up when it comes to a donation of music in this case.
I'll do this one.
I
love it.
So $500 would just go to drinks and food, right? And it's drinks, food, and
Are we gonna do
supplies.
balloons again?
Well, we're in that space, so hopefully we don't have to. We're just keeping it kind of.
Right.
But we also have to pay for printing, you know.
Right, there's gonna be a little bit of money for that.
And you said supplies. What supplies?
Cups and napkins.
I think possibly the restaurant might provide that, so,
Let's just keep it open in case, because we never,
yeah.
we also have, we have another meeting right before this if we really get desperate, so.
Yeah, we should have all of the answers to all of these questions, like, do we want a live music or do we want just canned music before our next meeting? So,
Yeah, That's
um,
good.
did I hear that you would ask
Yes,
Kathy
I
and
will,
Old Lang Syne?
absolutely.
Okay, thank you. And I will ask Jessica and Bill, and maybe we split it up. Okay?
Let's see what we get.
Okay.
So, on the most non-specific agenda item that's so wonderful, right here, how specific do we have to get now to vote it through? I have a budget of $500.
Okay,
I have a time from 5:11 on Wednesday, December 11th, at the convention center.
at what time
From
on?
5 to 11.
Oh,
That's only
5
because-
to 11.
I'm just leaving it open, it's not gonna be
Yeah.
that long,
No.
it's just one of those.
No.
And then, the $500
That'll
budget.
encompass the food and the music, correct?
Not-
printing.
The printing.
Oh, the printing,
Printing, it's all included in that 500.
okay.
Do I have to break it out for the agenda item?
Are you only given one option for the music, or is there gonna be multiple options where you'll need to choose?
Well, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna see if someone will donate their time for music, so the budget
Okay, then
won't
don't
go-
worry about that.
Okay. And then we have a meeting right before, for some reason we
The
get desperate.
second, mhm.
Yeah, so, does that sound $500 convention center,
Totally.
Wednesday, December 11th? So, we'll have no problem voting that through, but what do we need to do? I mean, other than voting?
What are the jobs?
Yeah.
So, if, we need to find out right away if we have music, and then we need to come up and, if we're going to print a card, or what we wanting to print?
Just, I would assume we have to print flyers,
Flyers,
Yeah.
okay.
and I can help design a flyer.
Okay. So we need flyers to be done fairly quickly,
Yeah.
and that information of who is playing needs to be known right away.
Yeah, as soon
So
as we
we
know
will-
that, we have to.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
And then,
social media, of course.
right. I will talk to Rob Page to confirm that we're doing it.
Yeah,
I had, asked and got permission, but I knew we had to vote on this.
for sure.
Okay, beyond that, the things that need to be done actually are with regards to filling the machine. And so I've started to collect some artwork just out of coincidence right now that are like little ornaments,
Well, that's great.
yeah, Tamara Page just gave me 14 little sugar skulls that would hang nicely on a tree.
Well, will you contact us, I mean, assuming that we don't have we will not have a quorum, about getting together and helping you pack if you need that?
Okay, yes, I will.
Because we could do another big work day. We
Yeah.
actually had a great time last time we did it,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I've got an idea.
Yes.
In terms of raising money, would it be a good idea, along with the machine, to actually put a tree up and hang, or have artists donate small pieces onto the tree so that, because, I can do it with beads,
Mhm.
but,
Do we have more pieces
you
than
see what I'm
boxes?
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So we had, and they were $10 a piece or something, would add,
What I'm understanding you're saying, Kate, is that you would like us to invite our artists, just in general, to put ornaments on the tree for sale.
exactly.
We're just a hustle.
That is a request that I think it's a lovely idea, but I'm already dealing with the 22 artists in the machine, and I'm gonna ask them to produce pieces if they would like to that are themed for the holidays.
Right.
And it's not a requirement of being in the machine, because we never made that a requirement of the machine.
Right.
But if they want to participate, then, somehow we will feature them on the tree. That would be, but if you want to add more artists than the 22 artists that are in the machine, is that what I'm understanding?
I just thought we might put a call out.
Yeah, it could be done. Who's going to put that call out, and how is that?
I'll put the call out,
Okay, good, yeah,
probably on Facebook,
okay.
community, and then by the time we have the next meeting, we'll have some kind of conclusion about that.
We will have to, it would
It
be
has to
best
be-
if that was a donation and not a split, because we're talking
No,
about.
it's not, it's gonna be a donation.
Okay.
Okay, oh, good,
Yeah.
okay.
Just because we don't have to go in and.
Because then I have to keep inventories.
No, because then we've got to get
Well,
some
then, let's do a call out, if some people want to donate small things, that'd be great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who wants to write that call out? I think it should be I think
I
it should
will
be,
write it, I will put
Okay.
it together, and then I'll pass it by you before I
oh,
put it.
yeah, to Karen.
And then I'll put it for all
Okay.
the community.
Thank
You can
you.
put it out to me and yes.
And I'll also edit double, it's good to have as many eyes
Yeah.
on something as possible, so we don't miss something.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
great. We'll email it all to Nina first.
Mhm.
Could raise it.
So it's a call out to artists for, tree ornaments for ornaments.
Yes.
Yeah, ornaments for the tree, for the BAC tree.
One thing I ask,
Do we want it to be a tree? Yeah, we can talk about that
I have, well,
later.
we can have a tree.
And I'll
No, as the arts, oh, sorry.
I was going to say, you know, the important thing to do is to tell them that everything has to have a string attached, so that the actual hanging on the tree is really simple.
Ready to hang.
Exactly.
Ready to hang.
And I would like to be a little conscientious about Christmas music. You know, as the Arts Commission, it's good that we play something. If we're gonna play one religion, we should do more than one, or have things that are not religious centric.
World music, that CD,
I-
make some, yeah, world.
You know,
But I think, I'm
can call
hoping we
that
get
a-
live music.
I
yeah.
think all that was out and get it right.
No. Then it sounds like we're good to go. I move to approve the following things. A cocktail party for the Sig Art vending machine on Wednesday, December 11th, from 5 to 11, which will include at the convention center, excuse me, with a budget of $500 for printing, drinks, food, and various supplies. Is that, do I have a second?
Second.
All ayes?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, that was good. Hey, well, we got those everybody fast. That was
And then
great.
item number 3, and then we're done.
Oh, no, I
We
don't.
got enough with.
Okay, go back to
We did
three.
table that, right, we did table that.
Oh, yeah, discussion regarding the final report turned in by Judy Murray for the book Aurora Dreams, A World of Color. It's color, so it should be at the very beginning of your agenda packet.
But we did get it. This is it.
And I gave you a copy of the book that was published.
Yeah.
It may not, I tried to get it in the order, but for some reason when I was printing it, and because some pages were two-sided, some pages were not, so if it's not in order and doesn't make sense, just rearrange
It's a
it.
difficult, yeah, that's a difficult thing to do anyway.
Yeah, Judy Murray.
There it is. It's very cute.
That's what it was.
Should you say from a grant from the Bisbee Arts Council, they're close enough. It's the hardest thing to get people to say that. Lena, thank you for putting together this incredibly complicated packet.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I'm gonna ask that you guys, if we can keep the ones that we have not approved this evening so that we don't have to reprint this.
That would be marvelous.
I know.
Yes, I don't, yeah, there's a lot of paper involved.
We're gonna have to see a couple of these guys again.
Yes.
There's no reason for her to have it printed again. I feel like we're tearing rainforest down.
I felt like I cut down like 6 trees.
And I think all the trees in Bisbee are gone.
Now this,
Do you have anything to say about that?
no, I think this is beautiful.
Mhm.
Here, look at mine.
Excellent. We don't have to vote on anything with that then.
No, it was just a discussion, just to look at it.
Did anybody have anything else they wanted to add?
Okay, she did wish for a larger audience, so maybe just for us to learn from that perhaps we need the artists to be, more vocal about what they're doing so that we can also be more
Help them.
vocal about getting the word out,
For sure.
so.
All right.
So item number 13, I think I pretty much have all the future agenda items.
And I'll get to you if there's a few things we need to talk about next time, but I'll get to you with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Do I have a motion?
Okay, yes, I will motion that this meeting be adjourned.
I second.
All ayes?
Aye.
Thank you guys. Hey, that was really